theme, as far as I'm concerned, is why, when the novel's title promises mice, do the mice barely get a look in? I was expecting something more like Tom and Jerry, but please don't write that in your exam. No, we want you to pass. The title of Mice and Men was in fact taken from a Robbie Burns poem from the 18th century. It's about a mouse that builds a nest in a wheat field only for it to be destroyed by a ploughman. Life can be harsh. There is a parallel here with George and Lenny's dream to own a farm, a dream that is destroyed at the end of the story. The poem is written in a Scottish dialect, which I'm not going to attempt. Worry not, my Scottish impression sounds like a strangled Teletubby. So here it is in English. The best laid schemes of mice and men often go wrong and leave us nothing but grief and pain instead of promised joy. Throughout the book, Lenny and George are like Batman and Robin or Ant and Dec, partners in crime and together forever. They're close friends who trust each other and share a dream of having their own farm. George tries to keep Lenny out of trouble and he relies on Lenny's physical strength and companionship. George shoots Lenny to save him from a violent fate at the hands of the baying mob. This is a genuine act of love which could only be carried out by a true friend. Although if my best friend's watching, don't get any ideas, right? Okay? Perhaps all of the characters are lonely or fear being lonely. Lenny and George are keeping loneliness at bay by travelling together and sharing that dream of owning their farm. Candy delays killing his dog because he fears the loneliness that will follow, but he knows that the dog is very old and sick and that it would be the right thing to do. You see, a dog is man's best friend and that still counts even if the man's name is Candy. This is foreshadowing George's decision to kill Lenny to save him from suffering. Crooks is lonely because his sleeping quarters are segregated from the other men because he's black. Curly's wife is also terribly lonely. She is in a loveless marriage and with no other women on the ranch to socialise with, she just flirts at the men in the bunkhouse the whole time, desperate for any kind of attention. These days, luckily, we've got gala bingo and internet chat rooms. To help them fight loneliness, the characters have their dreams, and in this novel a lot of cheese must be being eaten before bedtime because these guys dream a lot. George's dream is a practical one. He wants to own his own farm. He's heard of some land that must be sold so that the owner can pay his wife's medical bills, and if this dream came true, he would gain his independence. Lenny's dream is less grounded in reality. He wants simply to keep soft-haired rabbits on the farm that he'll share with George. Candy is inspired by George's dream and makes the dream his own. It seems everyone dreamt of owning farms back then. I guess when this novel was written, growing carrots and feeding pigs was the equivalent of being a Premiership footballer or going on Big Brother. Candy's savings make the dream of buying a farm a real possibility for George and Lenny. In fact, since Candy's dog was shot by Carlson, with all the money he's saving on dog food and canine treats, he could probably buy a farm and a tractor. Crooks, the black stable hand, dreams of equality. When he was a child, he remembers playing with the little white children and dreams of being an equal like them once again. Who dreams of being a movie star, though? Was it A. Curly, B. Curly's wife, or C. Crooks? Curly's wife dreams of being a movie star. Her hopes were raised by a man who promised to take her to Hollywood, but then disappeared. She gave up on her dream and got married instead. She could never make it big with Curly as her husband. No rednecks allowed on the red carpet. None of Steinbeck's characters are ever able to solve their loneliness problems during the novel. In fact, none of them even change very much throughout the book, and nobody's dream even comes true. What a lovely thought to end on.